Welcome to the Reconnection Club podcast, the show that helps parents heal troubled relationships with their adult sons and daughters. I'm your host, psychotherapist Tina Gilbertson. Each week, I'll offer you compassion, clarity, and personal development tips designed to help you reconnect, not only with your child, but with yourself. Now let's get started. You might be surprised to hear me say this, but when your estranged or semi-estranged adult child blames you for a past divorce, it could be a great opportunity for you to make real strides in your relationship with them. On today's show, I want to explain exactly how to make use of an opportunity like this for the benefit of both yourself and your child. Like everything else about repairing relationships, it begins with understanding the situation as clearly as you can. I've heard parents say that they think or suspect that their child blames them for their divorce, and maybe that's why the child is estranged. The first thing I want to say about that is, unless your adult child has specifically stated that they're angry with you because of the divorce, I would not assume that's the reason. Think about how long it's been since the divorce. If your child is now an adult, the divorce itself is probably not what they're upset about. They already survived it. If they're living independently, they're probably not looking for you and your ex to get back together so they can move back home and you can all be a family again. They've moved on with their lives, at least logistically. If they do want you to be a family again, even now, then they clearly need help processing what happened, and I would try to get them to join you in family therapy. But that's number one. If your child has not said so, don't assume the divorce is the main reason, or even a reason, why she's estranging herself now. The divorce may have been extremely hard on you, and you might have regrets from that time, even though it's likely you did the best that you could with the information and emotional resources that you had at the time. Try not to mistake your own experience for that of your child in the absence of more information. But let's say your child actually does say to you, it's your fault that you and dad or mom divorced. Even then, it is very unlikely that it's the divorce per se that he's still upset about. A few years ago, I took an informal poll about this using social media. I asked adult children of divorce about grudges they might be holding against a parent because of the divorce. Not a single person was angry just because one of their parents initiated a divorce. Most of them said the fact of the divorce was not the problem. If they were still angry, it was because of the way one or both of their parents behaved toward them, the child, during or after the divorce. Normally, if adult children are still angry about a divorce, it is not the breakup itself, but one of two factors. One, how it went down, and specifically what they experienced before, during, and after. Despite their parents' best intentions, children don't always end up feeling seen or heard enough for their taste. They might have expressed concerns about the divorce, and because it went ahead anyway, they didn't feel like their feelings mattered enough. Now, there are ways to listen to children in a way that satisfies their emotional need, without giving them everything they want. They're two separate things, giving room to children's feelings and letting them dictate what you do. You can listen respectfully and still not do what they want, but at least they feel like you heard them and you care about their feelings. But that is extremely hard to do when you're going through a divorce and you're stressed out yourself by the process. So if you didn't take quite enough time to sit down with your kids during the divorce and really listen to them, as opposed to just telling them things or explaining what was going to happen, or if you did listen, but not as much as they needed you to, then you're probably in the vast majority of divorced parents. We know divorce is often hard on kids, But it's pretty much always hard on the parents themselves who are making a difficult decision and handling everything that it entails. So very often, kids end up feeling like they didn't matter enough. That's one reason your child could still be angry, is that he didn't feel seen or heard enough throughout the divorce. And here's the good news. That's something that it is not too late to address, even now, no matter how long it's been, with a really thoughtful and sincere apology, combined with an openness to listening if he wants to express what was going on with him then. So don't stay stuck in regrets about the past. That's neither necessary nor constructive. There's plenty you can do in the present to make truly effective repairs. So that's the first reason why your child might be upset with you about a past divorce, is the child suffered and felt like you didn't take sufficient notice, and that hurt his feelings. And as I said, that is something you can certainly address today. There's no need to get into a time machine and try to do things perfectly. That is never required. But it doesn't mean there's nothing you can do. The second reason your child might appear to be angry about the divorce is because of the dynamics in your current relationship with her that she's grappling with. She is currently suffering, and she may be trying to point out those dynamics in your marriage as evidence that those same dynamics she's experiencing are destructive. Let me give you an example. She says, you were too demanding and too critical of your spouse, and that's why you ended up divorced. If she says something like that, could it be that she's trying to tell you that she herself feels the weight of expectations or the sting of criticism in her relationship with you today? In my mind, it's possible that she's trying, in maybe not the most efficient or effective way, to demonstrate to you that in fact this is something that you do that's hard on relationships in general, not just hers with you. Maybe she thinks her own feelings and reactions to you are not enough evidence to convince you that there's something hurtful going on. So she's pointing to your divorce as evidence of something she wants you to acknowledge about the relationship you share today. So if your child talks about how you treated your ex and goes on and on about that, try to find out what might be hurting your child in her relationship with you. Gently turn the focus of the conversation to where it needs to be by asking, is that how you feel in our relationship? You need that information if you want things to change. And if she's using your divorce as some kind of evidence of something that's hurting her, you need to know that. So try not to think of this as a problem between your child and your divorce. Assume it's a problem between your child and you, because if you're not part of this equation, you can't do anything to solve it. So let's hope it's a problem between her and you that's currently happening today that you can address. Whether your child is still angry about the treatment he feels he received during the divorce, or she's using your divorce as evidence of certain relationship dynamics that are painful for her, what's required for healing is simply that you listen well today with openness and not defensiveness. That's how you turn your child's criticism and blame into an opportunity for reconciliation. He is trying to tell you something, and how you respond can either strengthen the estrangement or it can strengthen your relationship. Your ability to listen with a will to understand rather than to be understood will have a positive impact. Even if you don't get to see it right away, it will have a positive impact on your relationship. Now, obviously, listening with an open heart to criticism and blame is much easier said than done, particularly if you have some emotional healing to do yourself. So please make sure that you're getting lots of love and support and caring from a dependable source while you offer your child the gift of listening. Absolutely review episode number 41, which was called Seek First to Understand. That contains cornerstone content for all parents estranged from adult children. And I hope that that episode, as well as this one, inspires and uplifts you on your journey toward reconnection with your child or children. If you're not in contact with your child at all right now, you can still do the work of seeking to understand both your child's point of view and your own experience of your divorce, both with compassion. You don't need your child's participation to start healing your relationship immediately. All you need is the will to understand, a bit of focused reflection, and a heaping helping of compassion and empathy for both yourself and your child. Until next time, remember that you are a loving, lovable, and still growing human being. So please take good care of yourself. Bye for now. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Reconnection Club podcast, I invite you to check out reconnectionclub.com. The Reconnection Club is for parents at any stage of estrangement from their adult, child, or children. So whether you've just realized there's trouble between you, you've been living with estrangement for years, or you're newly reconciled but still walking on eggshells, the Reconnection Club is your essential resource for information, support, and continued personal growth. With our courses and workshops, expert interviews, monthly Q&A calls, and a friendly, active community, the Reconnection Club is a wonderful place to be for anyone suffering the pain of estrangement from an adult, child, or children. So check it out at reconnectionclub.com.